So today, all I'm going to be talking about is our base fundamental play that all double wing teams will try to run against you. It is the one thing that all of us will do. Some of us do it better, some of us do it worse, but they're all going to try you on Ray, like some type of Ray 34 power toss. If they're doing it right, because like I've seen teams that align in the double wing, but then they don't pull anybody, and I'm just like, it's not going to work as good.
Defeats the whole purpose of the double wing.
Yeah, like yeah, like I've seen double wing teams with like foot splits, and they're just like, I mean, it's a power toss, but there's no one there blocking, and they're getting blown up in the backfield. I'm like, what are you guys doing? So there's double wing teams, and then there's like real double wing teams, and those real double wing teams are the ones that you have to worry about, because the way my teams operate, I focus a lot of my practice around this base play. Like, we will just run Ray 34 power and Lee 25 power till the wheels fall off. I have a thing in practice I call Power Hour. We literally run Ray 34 power and Lee 25 power for an hour. And I'll put every kid on defense. Like, if I have a big team, like 30 kids, and we got kids like over there on the knee, I'll put 13 kids on defense and just tell them, like, figure it out. All I want to do is get 3 yards of carry. So that's possible even with that many kids on the field, because I'm bringing everyone to the point of attack. So when your power play encompasses about 80% of your offense, it greases everything else. It's just a fundamental way a double wing team works, is they're trying to soften you up with power and then hit you with one of the many other things that they can do. Like, it's a 10-gap offense. You come out pretty much fully balanced with 5.5 kids on each side of the ball, and then you quickly unbalance, with the motion. And that plays into a double wing team's mentality, is they're going to try to show you that motion and then show you a cadence, and then it's just going to be just a lot of repetition, like power toss. Every once in a while you'll have like something else going on, like a wedge, or like, it really depends. Me, I don't really try to hold back on the trigger when it comes to counters and stuff like that. I let the defense see my power game before anything else, because I want to condition that defense to think that, like, man, like, if I don't step over there towards that motion immediately, like, we're getting burned. Like, the DC is yelling at them, like, you need to move up. They're like, they do a lot of things. But today, I'm just going to essentially show how I don't care what they do, because I put my kids in situations where no matter what defensive alignment they come out in, we're going to be able to run Ray 34 power. And when I can do that...
No, I agree. And I think, even if teams know that's the play you run, you still commit an hour of practice a day to, your power hour, which is probably 100%. A lot longer than teams commit stopping power. So
100%.
That's 100%. My mindset too, is, your kids have the blocking rules. It really doesn't matter what they do. You practice power more than they practice how to defend it.
Correct.
So there's really not much to do, honestly. Unless they out-athlete you or something like that. Who knows?
As a double wing team, man, it's your bread and butter, it's the silverware, it's the soup, it's the refreshments. It's literally everything your team needs to be about. Like, you need to explain to when I have my preseason briefings, I explain to the parents and all the kids, like, hey, this is what we're about to do. So if everyone isn't on board, then you can go find another team. Like, this is going to be a powerhouse running team. But you are going to see things that are going to be like, I didn't even know they could do that. Like, I like getting cameramen, they're zooming in off, like, on the power guy, and he's getting tackled out the ball because I ran a crisscross counter. I like fooling cameras. All my teams are heavy with fakes and misdirection. I don't let kids carry the ball unless they're good fakers. So you'll see on my videos, like, kids just, running full speed in opposite directions and just, rocking the baby. Just making sure that my fakes look believable, because when you do that in your double wing team and behind the defense, it's real hard to see. If you coach young teams and you can get out there and actually stand on the field when you call plays, when you stand behind the defense or you stand behind the offense and you see the zero line splits, like, man, it's a lot. Like, once the ball is snapped, even though, like, teams say, oh, I'll just read their guards, there's a lot going on in the backfield. Like, kids just zipping directions, So it's a lot harder saying, oh, I'm just going to read that guy's guards.
and let me touch on the whole reading the guards thing. As a wing team, as a team that pulls a lot of guards, first off, I don't they read my guards, first off. Second off, if you read the guards, then what? What's your kid's run fit? Right?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
And then two, even if he... follows the guard or has a distinct run fit or a gap responsibility, you're still probably going to outnumber them.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter if your linebackers are reading guards. You're not gaining an extra defender because they're reading guards. So 100%. Go ahead and read guards 100%. Or shoot over them. It doesn't matter. So that's
and I look at it like this. I look at the number one advantage. Yeah, the number one advantage in football is the fact that the offense knows the play and the defense does not. Mm-hmm. So the defense is always technically playing on their heels. They have to be because they don't know the play.
To your point, action is faster than reaction. You're going to make 100%. Your linebackers who you want to play downhill and get in their damn run fits look, then react.
100%.
And it could be indecisive. They may think they're kids. Like, it's not. It's easy to say, very much different to do.
100%. And I mean, I like to, I look at a lot of service academy stuff. Like, I was Air Force, so I'm a huge service academy football type of guy. And I don't know, like, because a lot of coaches, as soon as they come at me with that stuff, like, Coach, this isn't real football. We're just running, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Man, I'm like, go watch an Air Force or an Army game and look at the formation they're aligned in. And they don't usually understand why that is. They don't understand why Air Force and Army and Navy usually lead the NCAA in rushing yards every year. How do they do that when their linemen have to meet military standards, which means there's no 300-pounders on their line. But when Air Force has to go play like whoever, Arkansas, and they got to take on a nose tackle who's 330 pounds, do you know how they do it? They don't. They run away from him. You know what I'm saying? They lure him into traps and they do, double teams.
Or they just read him. Let him in and read him. He squeezes, you pull.
Because their linemen are fast. Their linemen are fast. They get out of dodge quick. You start running that read option and stuff. Like, so the double wing, you can do it on any level. But it's especially effective at youth because pretty much, I mean, the level of play is, pretty much equal. I mean, there's some kids on some other teams that are just absolute beasts, but the level of talent is pretty much even across the board. So I look at it just like what you said. I just look to out-execute and out-hustle because even pulling is hustling. Like, if you pull, I've had a couple guards that I was, like, blessed to have where these kids were, like, they would come to me and they knew how to, like, step pull. Have you ever seen that?
Skip pull,
like,
yeah.
Skip. Yeah. I had a guard come up to me. He was a 12-year-old, and I told him how I wanted him to pull, and I gave him the essential, like, it's like kind of down set, and then basically pull and shoot your toe and your, the arm throw technique. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, like, Coach, what if I do it like this? And he did a skip pull, and I was literally like, yep, keep that same energy, just keep doing that, because he got out of dodge quick. And he was always shoulders parallel to the line.
Yeah, he's square to the line. That makes a big difference.
Yeah, like as soon as he pulled, he would just skip step, and he would just blend in with the line. And he was out.
He can keep his eye on the guy he's saying it's a backside guard, for example, because we skip pull with our backside guy. When we kick out, we don't skip pull because we want to be square to our kick out. But like our
I tell my guard the same thing on all my counters. So my fullback is usually always responsible for the defensive end on mostly all the play, like all the power plays. But on my counter plays specifically, they switch responsibilities. I want the fullback counter stepping and leading through the hole, and I want my backside guard to just directional pull, meaning the old way, and just get eyes on target and just track him like a heat-seeking missile. If he runs all the way up the field to contain, just go that way and just take him that way, and just take him out of the play.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but again, I want teams to be terrified of my power play, and there's been occasions where I've literally like let off. I had one team I knew had a lot of film on me, and I actually did something hilarious to them because they're an in-city team and they're our rivals, but we always beat the brakes off them every year. So I literally came out, we got the ball on the kickoff, and normally I would come out and I would immediately run like Ray 34 power or maybe fire Ray 34 power where I go wing on. You'll see that when I get on the whiteboard. So I came out aligned in fire. I literally put my wing on the line of scrimmage, okay? And I ran a Ray 25 counter with the wing who was on the line of scrimmage. He literally drop stepped, turned the other direction, and literally that whole team, because I knew they had film on me, they knew he's going to run power the first play. So I came out looking like I was going to run power and ran a counter on the first play. And he got tackled out of bounds, but he got 75 yards.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. So occasionally I'll do that if I know a team who's like, really, but we ran power that day. It didn't matter. I just wanted to put it in their heads that, like, don't think that you think I'm just going to come out and do what you want me to do.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, man. So I'm ready, man. Let's get into it. So again, I'm going to go over today 𝐕34 power, which is our base play from UC. I'll show a little bit of how I align in gun wing, just to kind of show you, like, real quick. And then I'm going to show all the tagged formations that I run this play from. And then I'm going to go back to probably just the base, my type formation, and I'm going to plot that out against a 5-3, a 6-2, a 4-4, a 9-2, and a 10-1. And I'm going to literally show, I'm going to do a little good symposium on Good God. Coach Jeff, I don't know how much you know about Good God, or like where it came from, or like the history of that. But this thing is literally the best blocking system, at least for this type of offense. Mm-hmm. Because the fact that you have an extra wing is like key. If you're running the power I don't think this would work as good. I've seen a lot of different blocking systems, but this one with no other changes literally blocks any front. If your kids just follow their rules, like I'll get the kids coming up to me like, Coach, what if he does this? What if I say just follow your rule? You always have a rule.
Your track. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll always have a rule, and somebody will always, like, apply to your rule. The only time the only time I've had a big question from a lineman, and he was actually right, is when they literally put less defensive line pressure. Like, literally, they had two guys over, like, the B gaps. Yeah, they were just, like I don't know what they were doing. But they literally back linemen off the line of scrimmage. So then my guys were like, well, Coach, like, I don't have anyone my gap or down or on. What do you want me to do? I said, go right to a backer. I said, they're going to back up. Let's go right to a backer. Well. But that happens about 1% of the time. So usually you're going to see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 defenses. And these are the top 3, the 5-3, the 6-2, and the 4-4 are going to be the ones you most likely see. I know a lot of people seeing like a 3-5-3, but honestly, a 3-5-3, I think a double wing team would rip through a 3-5-3. Honestly, because I think if you don't have enough defensive line pressure and you're backing your linebackers up even like 2 yards back, by the time the posse comes through, like, you're giving me at least 1.5 yards just in distance that I don't have to make up.
Mm-hmm.
You have your kids back the way up. So yeah, let's get it, man. I'm ready to go to the whiteboard.
All right, cool.
All right, so. As you can see, I plotted out my formation. This is just a traditional UC double wing offense. I have markers for my wings because I'm going to be moving some kids around and kind of showing you some things that I do specifically with my teams. Down here, it's a very simple play call system. It essentially identifies ray motion, which means my left wing is going in right motion. If I put Lee here, it would alert my right wing he is to go in left motion. So the wings tend to know what motion is theirs. Like, this guy will always know his ray motion is his because we can't motion out of the formation. So I quickly, like, cut that out of their minds. I'm like, no, you can't motion out of the formation. You always motion towards the formation. So this is my motion call. This is who is getting the ball. This essentially is my 3 back over here. This is my 2 back. This is my 4 back, and this is my 1 back. Okay, that's how I number my backs. So 𝐕34 power, it's telling you that the 3-man is getting the ball and going to the 4-man, okay? I also don't number holes, I number kids. So as you can see right here, my right guard is my 2-man, my right tackle is my 4-man, my right tight end is my 6-man, and then I got 3, 5, 7 on this side. If I want to run like a wedge, the wedge would be 0 is the center's right foot and 1 is the center's left foot. So super easy. Now, power. What this is designating is it's just basically the blocking combination I'm going to use for this specific play. And what power generally tells my fullback that he is responsible for the defensive end. On any time he hears power, he knows that he is matched up against the defensive end. So I would come out in this formation quite often, probably when I first started coaching the double wing, I was coming out completely balanced. And then I found out after a while that I preferred an offset fullback look. So pretty much now my base is we will always be in a bear alignment, okay? So what I would do is I would just add this tag to the play call, and that lets my fullback know that he is now in a bear alignment, okay? Which is on the right-hand side. We've talked about this, Coach, before, like offset fullback. It kicks down the distance to the kick out.
Absolutely.
So it's a great thing to use. When I counter and I go back this way, it works great because he's still aligned bare. As the quarterback rotates this way and the two-back drop steps and comes in, he literally clears the lane for the fullback. I make this transition right here is like a dance. I have them scrub shoulder pads as they go by each other. But it works out really good to have him offset, because if he's here on a counter, he has to physically jump out of the way to get out of the quarterback's way. So when he's here, he just tucks in and just jab steps for a second and comes back this way. So it works really good. But for power, I always have my guys in a bear offset or a bull offset if I'm going to run Lee 25 power. So in the right corner, I just kind of showed the different tags I use: bull and bear, flame and fire, ugly and angry. And I'm going to kind of go over those like real quickly just to kind of show you the number of different ways I can run this play. So we're in bear offset now. Again, I said I am bear all the time. So if I just say Ray 34 power, they know to come out and bear. Now, some of the time I will come out and I will run fire Ray 34 power. Okay? And what I do is I take my wing and I put him on the line of scrimmage. Okay? Foot to foot with the tight end. Okay? In the hope that if their defensive end was aligned outside shoulder of my tight end, that he now bumps out. He bumps out here to a little bit wider, so he's outside on the last man, end man on the line of scrimmage, the 𝐿s, okay? So if he bumps out and he doesn't tell this tackle, and he said defensive tackles over here to bump out, it's going to increase the bubble that you're trying to run in, which is
a huge gap for sure.
Yeah, it's a huge gap. So a lot of times I catch kids slipping. Like, I break the huddle and I go right into this formation. I do not use this as a shift ever, because I don't want to tell them nothing. Like, all of a sudden when my wing lines up on the line of scrimmage, if they don't count, sometimes this kid doesn't even know. He just steps out. You know, they're not communicating. If it's a disorganized staff, they don't know what's going on, happens all the time. So by adding a simple tag right here, fire, I've now told the wing that I want you to go on the line of scrimmage. The complementary play would be flame Lee 25 power, which I put him on the line of scrimmage and do the same exact thing. Okay? Now, the one other time I will come out, I will sometimes come out like this. I will call angry Ray 34 power. Okay? Angry Ray 34 power. When I call angry, it tells my left tackle that he is going to come out here and he's going to be the new guy. NG. This remains my 4-man. This remains my 6-man. Okay? And now I got short side on the left. Okay, I got my 3-man and my 7-man.
Yep, a little tackle over.
Yeah, a little tackle over.
Wing T terms. I can't tell you how much we do that. We go heavy right, bring our left tackle to the right, heavy left, we bring our right tackle to the left, and now our 3-man surface in the wing T consists of 2 tackles rather than 1 tackle on the tight end. So
really,
yeah,
okay,
that's
awesome.
Yeah, bringing that tackle over, who's probably going to be one of your better kids. You know, it's nice. Creates an extra gap. Sure. Yeah, it's nasty.
And
tough to align.
What's great about this is that it doesn't mess up any of the good guy blocking
nothing
rules.
Changes.
Because everybody still has a rule. Okay, so for something like this, when you bring over the new guy, as long as he's inside the @man, he's blocking God. So I wrote the basic progression of the good God blocking system. Like, this takes a long time to go over, but this is essentially what the progression is. So the only person blocking good, which is gap on, outside gap down, is your called @man. So it would be this guy, okay? He is blocking gap on, outside gap down in progression, meaning if he gets to a guy and he's in his gap, that's his guy. The progression is over, okay? Anyone inside the @man, which is essentially now this guy and this guy, are blocking God, gap on down, okay? Then, since you know where the @man is, one man outside the @man is who's called your kingpin, okay? And this is going to be this guy. He's the kingpin, okay? another guy outside, one man outside the kingpin or next to the kingpin is the FBI. The FBI always follows the kingpin. FBI stands for first backer inside. Now, this is BS, backer to safety. That only applies if you have like another guy out there. That would happen if like you had, like, let's say you called a 2-hole play. So now the 2-man is blocking good. Then this would be your GDB guy. This would be your FBI guy, and this would be your backer to safety guy. Does that make sense? Because you have more people available to have rules. A lot of times, sometimes it just drops off with FBI. Like the last guy takes FBI, and there's nobody else left. Okay. Now, so I can run this. I also have done this. I did this with my one of my 2016 teams. It was really good, and they wanted to do this like all the time. We would come out and we would run Monster, Ray 34 power, and I would literally come out and we would just combine, basically combining Angry, Fire, and Bear, and we just called it Monster, and we just come out like this.
Yeah.
And we would run Ray 34 power. So
yeah, you're gonna have a seam. You know, it may not hit at the 6-hole, even though
Correct.
it probably would, because that D end, most coaches are teaching them get on the outside shoulder on the end man on line of scrimmage, and they're gonna talk the box. So you probably hit where it's supposed to, or out by the 6. But if it doesn't, there's so many gaps to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-man surface that it may even bang back and score. So like they're not going to be able to defend all those gaps, even if they stop it at the point of attack. And with a quick pitch, and a back square to the line, he could easily adjust his path. So
Kalande had this thing that he used to call the money cut, and what you just said is so true, because what the money cut was is that a lot of times a runner would get to literally like this area, where he's like 3 yards deep, like into the running lane, and then all of a sudden he just puts his foot in the dirt and cuts back this way, and just everybody just flows.
Yeah, the overflow. Yep, for sure.
They overflow. So this was the money cut, man. If I could see, if I would tell my kids all the time, if you see daylight to the left, then just run there, like run to daylight every single time. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back. So now that you can see the number of different formations I can run this play out of. There's just one more thing that I do that's part of my system, and one of the big things that's a highlight of my system is being able to run this same play out of the gun wing. So essentially the gun wing is always bear offset, okay? So that's why I went to bear offset with my UC stuff, because my gun wing teams were already used to doing it anyway. And there was really no con to it. So the only thing I changed to go into the gun wing is I just back up my QB to 3.5, right? And this guy is kind of far back. Like, I usually have my fullback like literally like right up on the guard, like here, right? Quarterback at 3.5, and then I bring this guy back to about 5 yards, directly behind the backside tight end. Like these guys are on a center track, okay? And that's the gun wing. The only thing the gun wing takes away is that you don't have a tossing quarterback who is now lead blocking.
Yeah.
Okay, because on my Ray 34 power, that's what my quarterback does. He spins and tosses, and he gets right in between this gap in here, going to look for cornerbacks. I don't usually recommend my quarterback try to take on linebackers, but in the weight restricted leagues that I play in, like I was just like, you go hit whoever does not wear in your jersey. But this is just a quick adjustment from UC, and a lot of times when I get in the gun, teams will just back up just by like rule, because I look like I'm in more of a passing formation, And all I do is I just use it to run more. So I don't really mess with any of that. All right, so let me put my guys back in UC. I want to try to erase all this.
And you know what? While you're doing that, Bull with the 2 L's refers to it to the left, right? Flame with the L to the left, just in case people don't catch on.
Yeah, exactly. So there's an L in every one of these words, like the ugly, flame, and bull, and then these words all have an R.
Okay.
The monster stuff, we were thinking about doing like a monster left, but I didn't get it that involved. We would do it as something like funny, or if we were just like massacring a team, we would just come out in it, because I wanted to see what the results were, like real world,
Yeah.
When I dream up stuff on paper on this whiteboard, sometimes I use leads, like if we just like we're in a scrimmage because we mercied them. I'll just start running stuff like this to just kind of like see what it does in the real world to it, so we can get film on it, you know?
Absolutely.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off, I'm in UC, and I'm going to start off with a basic 5-3. Now, again, I'm going to erase this monster because I'm not in monster. I'm just essentially in my standard UC offense with a bare offset. Okay, so the play would be Ray 34 power. Okay? If I don't say the formation, this formation I call tight, but if I don't say it, my kids know to align in tight because that's our base formation.
Right.
If I go to gun, all my play calls start with gun. Gun 34 power. Gun, rocket out 25 counter. So it's essentially, it's just, it's a hybrid system. Everything just, all the play calls are super simple. So I'm going to line this up against a 5-3. This is obviously a popular defense for a lot of coaches, I guess. I love seeing 5-3s because I'll explain why I love seeing 5-3s. Some coaches put their corners like way out here.
Yeah, really wide.
Yeah. Okay. So my centers, I'm just gonna like plot it out. Like I said, we already know that this is the at man right here. So he steps to the line and he knows I am blocking good. Gap on, outside gap down. He steps to the line, he sees he has an on block, so this is his guy. Okay? Everyone inside the at man is blocking God. Gap on, down. So he looks, gap, no, on, no, down. And I identify a down block as if your inside neighbor has a man on, then that is a down block. Okay? To eliminate, like if he's over here on the other guard, I'm never going to have my guard from this side shoot off at him. Okay? So he has to be on his inside neighbor. Okay? So he's blocking gap on down, so this is going to be a double team right here. My center is always blocking man on, man away. And man away meaning away from the play. So if there was a tackle over here, he would go that way. Obviously no nose tackle, but now he has a man on, simple, okay? So you get a double team there. Like I said before, one man outside the at man is blocking GDB. This is your kingpin because he's responsible for the pin block, okay? He's responsible for this pin double team right here that's going to allow, once the defensive end, depending on what the defensive end does, if he plays contain like this, okay? If he plays contain like this, my fullback is just coming out, kicking out, and getting his hat inside leverage, right? This guy is blocking FBI per the rules. I tell my wing, as soon as we start practice, do not ever touch the defensive end. Like this guy, he's made of lava. Do not touch him.
Yeah.
So generally what he'll do is, do not mess up the kick out, exactly, or just
Absolutely.
I don't want him to train wreck the gap, so what I do is a lot of times my wings are a little faster, so what they'll do is they'll go outside and they just go pick up this backer, okay? I don't really worry about corners because I would rather run all my pullers at a corner than I would a backer. So I don't do a lot of stuff that other coaches do where they'll just run this kid off and he'll try to get inside leverage in this corner. I don't care about that corner. Use corners are usually not very good tacklers. So if you run a guard at them, it's a wrap. So, kick out here, backer here. You have two double teams. You have a double-double, okay? And what I like is I like to get some vertical and horizontal push from my double teams to just muck up this entire area, okay? Now, on the backside, I am a gate puller. So I have my tackle fast inside reach. He is the only person that's staying back, okay? And essentially, he just basically covers kind of like the interior B gap because he's covering for the puller. Now on a power pull, I teach my kids to step into their pull and then basically immediately get upfield and kind of hug this double team that should now be up here. Okay? So he just hugs this double team and he runs what I call the question mark, okay? Because it kind of looks like a backwards question mark, okay? So he's blocking outside in. My gate puller is pulling and getting on his wheels, and he's just out. And he follows the guard kind of through the hole until he splits off, and he's blocking inside out. Okay? Now, of course, ray motion. So this guy comes into motion. It's a shallow motion. I teach my kids, if this was where the fullback is in sniffer position, and this is his heels, you are to motion no deeper than his heels. And he's in sniffer position, which means this distance right here is only like 2-3 yards. I don't have my wings coming way out here and catching the balls way down here, because that doesn't work. You don't want to start 5 yards in your backfield catching a toss and then figuring out where the blocks are. So you keep it nice and shallow, okay? And he should get the ball about 3 yards behind where the original guard was, okay? Quarterback is just spinning in the hole. He is, make that that's like a kid. Spinning in the hole and tossing it to right here in the sweet spot, okay? As soon as your 3-back has the toss, this lane should be set up, okay? There shouldn't be nobody over here. I gotta erase this guy too. That's an extra fullback. Okay? Quarterback tosses the ball and then spins in the hole. You can't have your quarterback running into the lane and then tossing it. Okay? I've seen bad double wing teams do that, where this kid basically cannot spin in place and toss. He has to literally spin, and I tell my quarterbacks, spin and then fall into the gap. Okay? So he just, as soon as he spins right here in place, he's out. Okay? And I usually have him go up to safety, corner, whatever's going on. Just pick up a guy. Okay? So that's your basic 5-3, and you have numbers. I don't care about this kid. I don't care about this kid. I don't care about this kid. I'm basically playing football against 8 kids. Because I really...
Oh, no. And to your point, you're probably about to cover just what I was going to say. But, like, I know some coaches probably thinking, like, oh, what about the end or the backside linebacker? They're going to follow the puller. Okay. Like, they're too far back. Okay, these guys. I'll let you answer it. We're on the same page with that.
Yeah, now I'm going to tell you, that is by alignment, okay? Because what I'm going to tell you is that, number one, my line is recessed as far back as legally possible, okay? Then my center puts the ball way out in front of him, like arms like outstretched. I don't let my center crowd the ball. I say put the ball way out in front of you, so the defense has to back up even more, okay? And that is why this shallow motion is so important, because when he goes in motion, the ball still hasn't been snapped yet. So when the ball is snapped, like my wing is like right about here, right? And then he just kind of intercepts the ball and then he's off. There is no way that this kid, unless he is just literally committed to just like steaming in, okay? And if he does that, and he consistently does that, I'm going to come back with a counter. Like, he can't do it all. Like,
and no play him. You can no play him too if he's timing up.
I can no play him too.
No play him. Then he'll probably slow down.
100%. I put defenses on their heels with Ray no play by just simply showing them the motion a couple of times, and then Ray no playing them like maybe once every series, and then it stops all of this like massive pursuit. You know what I'm saying? So these are non-player characters. I don't even really account for them because they don't have to be blocked. So now I'm going to go to a 6-2, and I'm going to show you the good God system. Huh?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Keep interrupting you. And another supporting fact here is a lot of those coaches will tell their DNs that the play going away, like, you got to sit back for counter or stay home, right, for reverse. So, like, there's zero shot. So I don't want to hear coaches saying the end's going to run him down. He's not going to. He really isn't. The splits are too close. The plays hit too fast. And there's too much separation, vertical separation from the defense to where the pitch is actually happening. It's too far back. He's never going to get there. So, like, there's no shot.
And that's why that motion has to be so shallow. When I talked about don't let your wing go super deep into the backfield, it's because if you let him go 7 yards deep into the backfield and he catches a toss, yeah, that defensive end could probably catch him. But if you see good double wing teams, man, that toss comes out quick and they are on their wheels. So I'm going to show this, and I'm going to show the good God system, and I'm going to show you against a 6-2, okay? And you're going to see that the good God system, like, really doesn't care. Everybody's accounted for, okay? So a 6-2, we'll just put tackle, 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 tackle. I'm just putting, like, heads up, and then a couple of pressed ends. You got these guys, like, reinforcing the B gaps. Corners are roll back, like here and here, okay? So you come out, Ray 34 power. And let's just say I decide to go fire Ray 34 power, right? So I go fire Ray 34 power, and let's just say dude bumps out, okay? Just for all intents and purposes and just giggle so we know the good God system's got this. So he's blocking, your at-man stays the same, okay, right here. Gap on, outside gap down. He has an on block, okay? Everyone inside the at-man's blocking God. Gap on down. He has an on block. Man on, man away. So he's got this right here. Okay? You got a fast inside reach right here, cutting off this guy, defensive tackle. Okay? Now, one man outside the at-man. GDB, gap down backer. Boom. There's your pin block. Okay? This guy's blocking rule has not changed. Just because he's gone on the line of scrimmage, he's still blocking FBI.
Mm-hmm.
Now he just has an easy release to backer. Boom. Okay? As soon as this guy's out of the way and he's progressing up there, this guy comes down here. Bam. Quarterback. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? Puller 1, up to backer, safety, wherever. Puller 2, inside out, cleaning up, hitting whoever he needs to hit. Quarterback falling in the hole. Still outnumbered, and still blocks are all there. Everybody's blocked. You still have a double team on the inside seam of the running lane, and you have a kick out on the outside. Like, that's pretty much, it's targeted. It doesn't matter that they're in a 6-2. It really does not matter.
In my opinion, too, a lot of people fall into the trap of having too many defensive linemen. Because if you looked at the 6-2 versus the 5-3, the play, we're running 34 we're running 34 power. There are 4 defenders away from the play side. Whereas against the 5-3, because you have more linebackers, there's only 3 defenders away. So you can't match numbers when you're putting everyone on the line of scrimmage. You need levels to your defense. Your second level has to match these pullers. And when you don't have enough, when you only have 2 inside linebackers and you got 2 linemen pulling, technically you need to fit 2 linebackers to the pulling side, and you're only fitting 1. So big misconception, people, is putting everyone on the line of scrimmage. It may work with some penetration here or there, but you're still only going to have 1 guy in 1 gap. 100%. And if that 1 guy across the line of scrimmage doesn't hold his gap, you're going to buy a big play and there's no one to run him down. So, I think a big a lot of people think, I'm not saying you have no down linemen, but I'm saying you can't put 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys on the line of scrimmage and expect to stop this. You'll stop it randomly here or there, but you will get gutted on a big play at some point. So.
Correct. You can't be everywhere at once.
You got to match numbers. If there's 8 people at the point of attack, you need people to run to the ball. You can't run to the ball Coach, when they're all caught up on the line of scrimmage.
Coach, it kind of sounds like you're going to be running this next season.
Yeah, maybe.
I love it.
It's kind of similar, like wing T, double wing. It's big difference in the line splits, but having the 2 wings motion going unbalanced, there's a lot of similarities.
Correct. Like, this is like, it uses the same.
I'm a big wing guy. If it has wing, single wing, wing T, I'm a wing guy.
If you're a wing guy, then you already kind of get it. The double wing has its intricacies with wedging and stuff like that, and kind of stuff that we're known for. But that power toss is just simply hard to stop. Like, it's like your wing T belly play, right? Like, that's the belly. The Vaca High guys run the wing T, and they've been good at it for many years. So I know all about it. But yeah, this is something I just settled on, and I just kind of loved it. So lately, I've been getting a lot of questions about the 4-4. Coaches be asking about the 4-4 a lot because this is a popular defense that
it's probably the most common defense we've been seeing. 4-4.
Yeah, I see a lot of 4-4s. I think the 4-4 I saw that actually gave me problems was basically in this, but they'd be like this. They weren't giving me that much space out here, so they'd kind of put their backers out here, right? And they were always prowling around the line of scrimmage, right? So 4-4 defenses, if you're in a 4-4 and you really do have athletic backers and stuff like that, the team I faced that was in this defense, they were legitimately good. They matched us for athleticism and everything. They were on it. And it did give us a few problems. It gave us a few problems and slowed us down in some areas. But then when I came out and started running counters, I started noticing 4-4s typically have fast flow linebackers. And if you fool these kids, what happens is once both of these kids go this way and you're running a counter this way, it's a wrap. Because there's just no interior pressure. You don't have enough stacked things going on to stop a counter. And I just noticed that on against the 4-4 when I ran the counter. This kid flew this way. This kid flew this way. This kid flew this way. So there was literally nobody out here. But the blocking rules. So let's just look at a 4-4, and I'm going to tell you what I would typically do against a 4-4. If I picked this up and I knew that this was going to be the defense that they were going to be aligned in, we would start working all week on Ray 36 power. Okay? And I'm going to explain why. Because I want to basically target a double team like where I want it. Typically when I see 4-4s, they usually got people over the guards and then over like the tight ends, right? Like heads up, right? So the reason I would run Ray 36 power in this situation and I would go over with my team like all week is because that's where I feel the weakness is in the 4-4, because this backer is like really not, he's not really in a position to really stop me from what I want to do. But the key point is that they've put their defensive tackle in a situation where I'm able to double team him. Okay? So what I do is I choose where the double team is going to be, and I choose where the kick out is going to be. So in a situation like this, I tell my kids, hey, Ray 36 power, go. Now, let's just watch how it blocks out. Man on, man away. I'll just start with the center. So you got him right here, okay? Your at-man is blocking. I'm sorry, your at-man is now this guy. Okay, so he's blocking good. Gap, on, outside gap, down. He has an on block, so he comes right here, okay? Everyone inside the at-man is blocking gap, on, down, so this guy has an on block, and this guy has a down block, so you're covered here, okay? Now, this guy is now one man outside the at-man, so he is now your kingpin blocking GDB, gap down backer. I could do this from fire, too, and he could step up to the line right here and just immediately engage. But I keep him off, and he just comes down here, and it's a double team right here, okay? Now, as you can see, this backer is going to have to choose, because generally, if this backer comes firing right down in here, my fullback is just going to come out and just log him. Okay. Sometimes they'll come, they'll come out this way. It doesn't matter. My fullback just comes out here. Boom. You got the backer. Okay. And then on this side, everything's the same. Okay. You get your quarterback. Boom, 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 boom. Motion. Short toss. Falls in the hole. Goes cornerback hunting. You got your puller eating up space. Getting right here, trying to run the question mark. Okay. Fast inside reach. Now he's just defending this guy from being able to pursue. This guy's, I mean, if he scrapes, he's a player. But this guy's kind of nothing. This guy's kind of nothing. This guy's kind of nothing. So we're still playing against 8-man football. Just want to make sure I got everything handled. Yeah, this guy gets the ball, and now the target is this. Okay, the target is the outside hip of the called at-man. So he's gonna try to look for his lane a little wider. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Instead of being the 4-man, typically I aim here. But now, since everyone's kind of like we force a double team on this defensive tackle, or the outside tackle, whatever you want to call him, it's a wrap. So I would probably run 36 power, and I would run 27 power, lead 27 power, which would be going this way. And I'd still give them a lot of looks, unbalanced stuff. We'd be doing a lot of crazy stuff.
And I would really like against the 4-4 or even the 6-2 if they had a wide defensive tackle kind of in the C gap. I would like going with your fire tag on that. So because that way, let's say we're still in the 4-4. I like the fire tag because it'll allow that wing that's now on the line of scrimmage to engage with that double team quicker versus being in the backfield. Especially if that kid they're double teaming is pretty good. You need to lock up that double team and get movement on that kid, whether you wash him down or a vertical push. So just having a fire tag is great. You could say, okay, this kid's pretty good. He's really neutralizing our double team because the double team's engaging a step or two late because the wing's off the ball. Now you move him up. You zero line splits. That double team's engaged immediately. So
you know what else? You know what else I do, Coach Jeff? I do be doing some stuff like this. A lot of times, if I'm gonna run fire. If I'm going to run fire and I'm going to put my wing on the line and we're going to run power, who says that has to be my 2-back? I'll put another lineman right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I'll bring another lineman out. I don't care. I don't need him as a receiver. Like I want him to block.
Even if
So
your
as long as
tight
he
end's
knows
a
the
better blocker, you could bring you bring over whoever you want.
If I'm loaded on linemen, I'll come out in this. I do the same thing with my Eagle Heavy package, which is like a direct snap, like shotgun wildcat. I have it where I have this thing called Eagle Heavy, where I literally take out every single kid who's a back except for my fullback, and we literally direct shotgun snap it to my fullback with 10 linemen in the game. The parents love it. All their kids get to play. Like it rocks, and it still goes just like this. So what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna show a 9-2. I've occasionally seen this on a couple of like rare occasions. So 9-2 is pretty wild. I'm just gonna put.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just gonna put a man on everybody. Okay. I think that'll work. Yep. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So backer. Now, mind you, I'm gonna run Ray 34 power against this, and now if they would come out like this, like I'm gonna torch them on a deep pass. So teams that I've seen come out like this, it doesn't last long because it takes me literally like 3 minutes to just go in.
I mean,
say,
to the tight end and wingback side?
Yeah,
tight end wingback, like who has the tight end and who has the wing and man coverage? Like gonna bump your backer over? I don't think that's a good answer for this.
If they're this close, I'll run like literally like a 4 verticals play where I won't put my wing on the line of scrimmage. I'll have it back here to make this guy eligible and my wing eligible, and then I just go 4 verts, and I'll go right past this, and my quarterback will roll hella deep and just bomb it.
And you still just run power at any of those formations, regardless of the tag.
Yeah, but if they come out like this, and I've already called like fire Ray 34 power, and this is their plan, I'm going to show you why it doesn't matter. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to tell you is you got a guy on every guy. They're all heads up. They're just crammed in there because we're 0 line splits, so they're damn near 0 line splits as well. Okay? So this is a simple call. My center will come to the line and realize that he has a man on and a man away. So he is immediately in conflict. So my center will back up off the ball and he will call domino, domino. He'll just yell it out to the line. Okay? As soon as my kids hear domino, the entire line on play side know that they are now in a GDO scheme. Okay? Gap, down, on. Period. All the way down the line of scrimmage. Okay? Don't care. So, he already knows he's got to take the man away. He knows this for a fact, okay? So, boom, man away. This guy's blocking gap, down, on. So, he has a down block, so he's blocking down. This guy is blocking gap, down, on, so he's blocking down. This guy's blocking gap, down, on, so he's blocking down. This guy's blocking gap, down, on, he's blocking down. This guy comes skirping off this. Kick out. Same stuff. Toss, short motion, get the ball. You got a puller here that's just going to try to get through this scrum and get to a backer. This guy is fast inside reaching. This guy is getting out of dodge and just blowing through this hole. Quarterback still has to fade up. I mean, you're bringing a lot of people. If you cut through that single layer of defense and you put one person on this backer, it's a wrap.
Every defender outside of who the center is blocking is useless against power. You are losing pretty much 4 pursuit players. And unless you give up serious penetration from one of these head-up D linemen over your play side kids, they're done. And what's great about down blocking as a guy that's all we do is down kick. That's all we do.
Correct.
Those D linemen,
that's nasty.
Their head's looking at the ball. They're not even going to see the lineman outside of them block down on them. So even if they are physically superior, down blocking on the lineman that's inside of your neighbor, as you say, they're not going to see the block coming. It's an equalizer. You're only blocking the half of the body, so it's too easy.
And we practice this all the time. We practice going to our domino. Like I'll put a lot of kids in the line of scrimmage. When we scrimmage against them, we go full contact. I'll put a lot of kids in the line of scrimmage, and we'll go over domino calls, and we will straight wall block this. Like you will literally see when this stuff forms up, it literally looks like this.
Yep, that's all we do. Schematic
with all of these kids just scrummed back here, just fighting each other. And then what happens is the pullers are almost like full and clear. This is the only kid, and if your fullback gets a hold of him and gets inside leverage, it's over. Like, it's over. So I don't get scared of 9-2s. I don't, like, a 10-1 would be the exact same thing. And, like, okay, so now you put someone like, I don't know, heads up on this guy. It wouldn't matter, and you bump the tackle out, okay? Because he has a gap down on block. But the first guy through, the fullback knows he's picking him up. It's not necessarily, like, always going to be that outside guy with something like this. Because at some point, you're going to run out of blockers to down block, and one guy's going to escape through. So I tell my fullback, whoever you see, neutralize him. Period. It could be this guy, or it could be the end. But a single layer defense, you'll get ripped with that. And I will rip.
Absolutely.
I will rip wedge. Wedge will go right through this.
Yep.
I will Ray no play them. I can pass against this. So this is incredibly unsound. The reason I even plotted this out is to just kind of show you that the good God system doesn't care. Just with a simple play call, with a simple domino call and taking the whole line to a GDO concept, they're already used to following rules. So they hear domino. Hey kids, the first two letters of domino is D-O. So gap down on. It's simple.
Yeah, very simple.
And that's how we just roll on teams, man. And that's how I run power against pretty much any front, man. The good God system accounts for it. You can move the at-man. You can use the simple tags to unbalance, go wing on, offset your fullback. You know, the putting your fullback to one side or another is really inconsequential because I'll put them on the power side and run counters the opposite direction. So if you're trying to line to my fullback, yeah, that may help you out if I run power. But if I run counter, it's a wrap. So, you know, there's just a lot to account for, you know, with this system, man. So,
it is. And when you get really good at running your power, all you need is to add tags. And then, so it's like you have 4 different formations that these defenses, if they scout at you and you showed all these formations, not to mention, say you didn't show any of it. Like, thinking of it from a defensive standpoint as more so a defensive guy, believe it or not. I mean, I do a lot of offensive stuff too, but like, I am a defensive guy, honestly. So like, coming from a defensive standpoint, assuming I scout, because I would be one to scout, and assuming I knew you ran all these, that is 4 different alignments I have to practice against. Yep. So it's very easy to install formations or add tags to already formations where you're moving one guy that changes the whole thing and puts me in conflict.
You have to spend literally hours. You have to spend hours of practice time trying to talk about what it literally took me like 6 minutes to install on my offense.
You know, we have to spill power. That's what we would do, and we do practice it not against double wing, but we are going to see power a couple times here. So we practice how we play power. But when you line up in multiple formations, that's 4 alignments I got to teach in 1 week.
Correct.
It allows you to be multiple offensively. It allows you to be multiple offensively while keeping it simple for your kids, and it's given me 4 different formations, and not even counting the months or any other little adjustments with a simple tag that I have to prepare for. Right. It's impossible. That's what we do. We run the same 4 run concepts out of 3 different formations. But what's even more efficient with you is that you're running one scheme. We're like getting really good at one scheme and just doing it at different alignments. You know, and so you're going to be we're going to be good at our 4 run schemes because it's not a lot. And kids, you know, we kind of streamline as far as how to coach it for so many years doing it. So we kind of it's not a big deal that we do run 4 schemes. But if we only ran one scheme, we're good at the 4 schemes we run. But if we only ran one, I can only imagine how good we would be. So
and this is the thing. How much practice time do you save, like not aligning in, you know, a bunch of different formations? And
that's
stuff
my
like that?
only like. I'm more of a gap scheme guy. Obviously, you are too. But like my one reason why I do like inside zone or outside zone, just spacing it off one of those plays or just 2, is that you only have to block those, and you can make different tags and adjustments to it too. So get really good at a scheme, get good at coaching it. And then just do it different ways with different looks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like all the different tags. I really do.
Man, using those tags, it literally allowed me to just straight multiply my offense into something that, even though it only has like 25 to 28 plays, like if I take a 12U or a 14U team, they're gonna have like 14U team probably have like 30 plays, but a 12U team they can handle like 25 plays. But the thing is that like those 25 plays are going to get run at like 99% execution because that's
and even
all
if they know that, you're practicing those plays more than they're practicing how to defend it.
Correct.
Out of those
I
formations.
I just keep it as simple as possible, and I eliminated all non-football related physical activities, man. I don't do up, downs, and burners. I don't make kids run laps because they just run laps and they're like, hey, Billy, what did you do today at school? No. So what we do is we line up in formation, and I run high-speed, no-huddle plays against no defense.
Yeah, we do play sprints, too. That's what we call it. We call it play sprints. We line up in our formations and run it.
I call it 10 ball. If we get access to a football field, I take a football and I line up one football every 10 yards all the way down the field, all 100 yards, right? I start in the end zone with my kids huddled up in front of me, and I have my play call sheet, and I'll go, okay, Ray 34 power. The quarterback leans in, he's like, Ray 34 power, on go, ready, break, boom, they run to the ball, okay? They run Ray 34 power. Everyone carries out their assigned assignment. Then, after he runs the play for 5 yards, drops the ball, I'm yelling the next play as they are running to the ball and lining up at the second ball. And it might be like Ray 25 counter, boom, they execute that. Drop the ball, next 5 yards. Coach is, cleaning up behind us, and we just run it all the way down the field. If they mess it up, like if they have one mistake, then we come all the way back down until they can play like 10 mistake-free plays.
That's right, yeah, and you're working conditioning, you're sprinting, you're conditioning your
kids will be dead.
And
your kids will be dead.
Your run schemes, and you're practicing tempo in case you have to go fast because you have a short time. I call it short time, but like not a lot of time left on the clock. 2 minutes off, and whatever you call it. So you're working multiple techniques and multiple things for one.
I have a simple rabbit and turtle call. If I yell rabbit, then they know that we're not huddling anymore. And I have a code that I send in. It's all contained in my manual how I do it. I usually like to use 11 risk coaches. If I'm going to go like really no huddle on kids and we're going to make that like a weapon in our system, I'll just buy 11 risk coaches. I keep all the risk coaches and I hand them out at games because I don't want kids like showing up. I don't have it, coach.
They'll lose it. I know.
So I have a code that like can't really be broken. I just yell in the code. And they just run the play, and we just beat teams down like that. Alternative to that, I have a turtle call, and if I call a turtle call, that tells my quarterback that he should just jog out to me and get the play, like come all the way to the sidelines and just kind of And we don't really get delay of game penalties. I'm more disciplined than that, but I just try to teach these kids how to play mistake-free football. And if you can execute and out-execute and don't kill yourself with turnovers and mistakes, and you run an offense like this, there's not a lot of teams that are going to beat you. Because a lot of times you beat yourself.
Yep. And, powers, I really like just building around one play, honestly. Like,
yes, sir.
We run 4 run schemes, but, like, the 2 plays that we commit the most to are our jet and our buck. Those are kind of 2, it's basic gap down backer, playside guard, pull, kick, backside guard, pull, wrap, backside tackle, just blocks down, replaces the guard. So, yeah, I think, it's tough, and I think... my favorite tag, again, is the fire call because there's 2 mistakes that teams make in my mind when they play teams, like the double wing or even when they line up against me and our beast, which is our direct snap stuff. Our balance to the right and all our backs to the right, 3-man surface, each side, direct snap, best kid, and we're running power or blast. But the biggest mistake teams make, especially when you're in an unbalanced line or when we go tackle over in our wing tee, is that these teams, when they have a nose guard, they still think the center of the formation is the center, which isn't. If you have 3 linemen to the right, and you still have the center, you have 3 linemen to the right of the center, only 2 linemen to the left of the center. The center of the formation isn't the center. The center of the formation is that guard. So now you're looking at that guard next to the center. Now you'll have 2 and 2, you know what I mean? Like 3 and 3, I'm sorry. So it's like, they line up on my center, and then that's what creates that gap when you move that wing up. So, that was the biggest thing against the double wing team that we did well against. Yeah. We're doing tackle over, giving us a 4-man surface to one side and a 3-man surface to the other. So the center of the formation isn't the center. The center of the formation is the guard to the 4-man surface. So we were lining our defense up too. So we weren't overshifted either to the 4-man surface. because you still got to respect the 3-man surface. Just because you got 4 linemen doesn't mean they're not pulling the guard, the other tight end.
I'll run counters. I'll run, like I told you, I run wing on counters. I literally put a wing on, and that's the kid hitting the ball.
Yep. Yeah. So, it'll allow me to be match numbers pre-snap.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we also, teams will not line up against, there's, in my opinion, and we're getting into, defending stuff now, but in my opinion, the offensive line, it's a big difference as far as alignment goes, at least for what I do in my system. Yeah. If the offensive line is unbalanced, that's kind of a different, you got to kind of match it with your first level.
You definitely do.
If the offensive line's balanced, but the backfield's unbalanced,
for sure,
you got to match it like that. Because you can't shift your line to the backfield that's unbalanced, because say that 3-man surface away from the backfield strength, you're going to get gutted. So it's all about just matching numbers, getting your kids aligned.
And think about the double wing motion. As soon as the double wing goes into motion, now you more unbalance the formation. Because as soon as that left wing goes into motion to the right, now every second that goes by, the formation's more unbalanced.
You come out, you run your power out of your base formation with the 2 tight ends and 2 wing backs. Yep. And then they get good alignment or they do good against it. You just go fire.
Sure.
And then
all day.
Put them on the line.
I love it. Yeah. I literally love it. I literally love it, man.
And nothing changes for anyone else. Nothing changes. Nope. This kid is taking 2 steps up or 1 step, whatever, however far back your wings are, and he's on line. Nothing else changes. But that changes a frick ton for me from the defensive standpoint. Correct. That changes not just one. We don't have to adjust one kid. We have to adjust our formation. This went from a balanced line to an unbalanced line. You do lose one player as far as passing goes, but at the end of the day, you got to stop the run. Run the ball. But that's the only thing, okay, I have one less passer, so I got to use my corner to kind of get him in the game because we want to spill it out to them. But one little thing forces me to move. You move one kid, I have to we would call it over, because we have to get our nose on the center of the formation, not on the center. So we got to move our kid. We got to move kids. You can move them one, and that's if you're kind of doing it. I'm not saying that's the right way. That's just our rules and how I would do it. That's if they're even doing it that way. So just be multiple, man. Get really good at one play, and just add formation text. That's it. It's that simple.
That's all you need.